Sheldrick, good to see you. I was wondering, could you tell us how it came about for you to be on that social justice leadership committee and why it was important for you to be part of it?
I mean, this is something that I've been passionate about, my whole life, because I've dealt with it my whole life, growing up, my grandfather, this was something he was passionate about living in those times, when it was, you know, terrible, so growing up, hearing his stories about stuff, it just, over time, it just, it just kind of resonate with you. And then, starting to see stuff for myself as I got older, it's just something that, I feel like change has to be done, so I feel like I have a voice, that I should use to try to bring change about.
What can you tell us about your grandfather and his influence on you? Like, what's his name? Where is he from? And what was he telling you about his life that inspired you?
His name's Cedric Pratt, from Miami, just telling me stories about, how bad he was treated, his family was treated. He was telling me about an uncle he had, murdered by the KKK, so this type of stuff, it was a deep place in my heart, so it's just, I love talking about, expressing my feelings, because it's something I hold in, but I feel like, it's like a relief to me just to talk about it.
And I'll stop hogging this, but one last one. What do you think you guys were able to accomplish yesterday after practice when you met? What was that discussion like? And do you think you guys made some progress by doing that?
I mean, it was a lot of discussions about different plans, but me personally, I'm waiting for a plan to, go into action, just try to find something to change. It's, to be honest, it's, this is to be honest, it's a frustrating topic, for a Black man, living how we're living, so it's, we've not overlooked it, but, it's been something that's been going on for so long, and there's been repetitive attempts of trying to stop this and bring change, but it seems like the way everything is structured is trying to, it's like resistant towards change, so it's just about consistent push on trying to make that change happen.
Thank you for sharing that, Sheldrick. Our next question is going to come from Marla Ridnour.
Hi, thanks for doing this. I just want real quick, Cedric, is it C-E-D-R-I-C?
R-I-C-K.
Okay. And Pratt, P-R-A-T-T?
Yes.
Okay. Coach Howard was just talking about how you were sending him sort of like motivational clips in the, in the off season. Where did you get those from? Were they, were they social justice mostly related, or where, I don't know. He didn't give us a whole lot of detail on it.
Just regular motivational videos. That's something during this whole quarantine, the time that we're locked down, I really took it upon myself, to really find myself, in a deeper level, so I took the time to watch a lot of successful people talk, how they approach life, really, people like Eric Thomas, Steve Harvey, guys in those realms, a lot more, just watching those guys talk, how they approach stuff, so I tried to emulate that and, try to take a little bit of approach to how I approach stuff, because those are the people who are successful in life, so trying to, when you want to be successful, you do what the next successful person does, so taking those type of stuff, I just sent it to Coach Howard just to, really just to share the knowledge. I send it to, whenever I see a video I like, some motivational stuff, I send it to all my friends, I send it to coaches, I send it to teammates, just to try to spread awareness, that it's a lot out there, that we can accomplish.
How many people are on that? That's seems like you got to have a thread that's pretty long, right?
Yeah, probably sending like 20, 25 people, the people that's close to me, just to try to, expand my mind frame, and just to help other people, gain that little bit of knowledge, because quarantine was a tough time. A lot of people went through a lot of tough stuff. So tough stuff, so just giving people that little extra motivation, you never know what it could do for somebody, I never know what everybody's situation is, but whenever I feel like, I can be a help to somebody, that was something I always prided myself on.
And one more thing, what did you come out of that quarantine? You said you were working on your, expanding yourself. Did you come out with any I don't know, clarity or something you take from it?
Oh, definitely. You know, I've found you know, meditation a lot. You know, and I found a lot of other stuff that I was interested in. You know, I read a lot of neuroscience books. You know, a lot of financial literacy books. You know, that's something that's a strong topic on me. You know, I started a foundation. You know, that's really trying to help. You know, inner city Black kids. You know, help them get that type of financial literacy education. You know, skill building education. You know, just because a lot of people where I'm from, you know, it's either football or nothing, you know, and that's the type of mind frame that I'm trying to get people out of, you know. So I want to build this foundation, you know, after my great grandmother, you know, I put it in her name, you know, just to help kids understand that it's another way, you know, outside of football. I was one of those kids, you know, growing up when, you know, when the teacher asked me, you know, what did you want to be when you grow up? I said football. You know, they say, well, if football doesn't work, what do you want to be? I said, you know, I don't know. You know, so now that I feel like I've learned other techniques, you know, outside of football, you know, like investing, you know, that's something else, you know, that I've learned about, you know, investing my money, you know. So I want to take the knowledge that I know, you know, and put it towards this foundation and give it to other kids, you know, so they can grow. I had to learn this at 23. You know, I want kids to understand that this is possible for you, you know, teach kids that's 10, 11, 12, you know, just to give them something that they can be interested in. And while they're growing up, they can learn about it also.
Thanks so much.
Problem.
Thanks, Sheldrick. And I believe you said you named the foundation after your great grandmother. Could you share the name of the foundation?
The Gloria Redwine Foundation.
Great. Thank you for that. Our next question will come from Tom Withers.
Hey, Sheldrick, your summer reading list is making me feel like I'm slacking. Hey, I wanted to ask, in those talks yesterday, were there talks about any way of you guys protesting? Has there been any talk about potentially boycotting a game?
No, there haven't been any talks about that yet.
Okay. And how difficult are some of those conversations you have to have with some teammates, Sheldrick, that have never walked in your shoes, particularly when you're talking to like a white teammate about what your experience has been like and what your grandfather and others have been through?
You know, I wouldn't say it's difficult, you know, but it's just, you know, just trying to get them to understand, you know, it's tough. You know, being Black in America is tough. You know, I go to the store, you know, I got dreads and tattoos, you know, I get followed around stores, you know, I've had run-ins with the police, you know, where I've been treated where I felt like I've been treated unfairly, you know. So it's just, you know, I just feel like it's time, you know, it's something that we all dealt with our entire life, you know, and it's unavoidable, you know, it's out there. So I just want to bring knowledge to the situation, you know, and just, you know, whatever I can do to make a change, you know, it just got to be done. You know, I feel like it's more than just talking, you know, it's time for action. It's the people who in a position to make changes, you know, we got to hold those people accountable to be able to make those changes.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, Tom. We'll go to Scott Patrick.
Hey, Sheldrick, did you volunteer for the Social Justice Committee, or did Coach ask you to be on it?
Coach asked me to be on it.
Is that because he saw kind of your passion for it during the off-season Zoom sessions?
Yes, I feel like that's the reason.
And, you know, obviously you were around last year. Did you feel like you could have this kind of voice last year as a rookie, or is that something you feel like year two you can go ahead and express yourself?
I feel like I could have had this voice last year, you know, but this wasn't something I was like, you know, I'm not sure if we had one last year or, you know, what it was, but I feel like, you know, I feel like, you know, we all have a voice as being NFL players. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, where you are on the team. You know, if you live this, I feel like you have a voice that needs to be heard. You know, it's nobody who's, you know, he's up here so he can talk, but, you know, so I feel like everybody should be able to have a voice, you know, in these type of situations, because, you know, we're the ones that's living it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Tony Grossi has our next question.
Okay, Sheldrick, appreciate all you're saying and doing. I did want to ask you a football question, so I apologize for changing the subject. Okay, I've seen so many interceptions in the 10 or 12 days that the media has been out at camp. I'm wondering, what do you make of it? The offense says who's keeping score, but I guess your DB coach says they keep scoring interceptions. What's to account for all the interceptions out there?
I mean, you know, just running to the ball. You know, when you run to the ball, you know, eventually those plays are going to happen. You know, we pride ourselves on tips and overthrows. You know, it's been a lot of tips and overthrows that we got our hands on, you know, so just relentless effort to the ball, you know, and then just knowing, you know, you keep running to the ball, you know, eventually those players are going to come and they're going to fall into your hands. So just really running to the ball and just giving effort.
So would you say the defense, particularly the secondary, is having a real good camp, or how would you characterize it?
Yeah, I'll say you know, we working, you know, it's just, you know, it's a day-by-day process. You know, it's camp. So, you know, it's offensive days, defensive days, you know, but how I feel, you know, it's always, you know, it's just constant work. You know, it's always going to be a destination. I mean, it's always going to be a journey. I mean, you know, it's never a destination of where you've got to the point. You know, it's always going to be a journey of, you know, you working, you getting here, you know, now it's time to take the next step, next step, next step.
And we'll go to Mary Kay Cabot.
Hey, Sheldrick, just wondering, how hard was it for you to see Grant go down the way that he did? And, you know, what does, you know, are you keeping in touch with him? And how hard is it to see, you know, one of your probably great friends just go down like that?
No, it was terrible. It was terrible for me to see. You know, I was right there, you know, watching it when it happened, you know, and that's just, it really, like, you know, seeing them in the training room, you know, just, you know, it really tore me apart. You know, I hate seeing players injured, you know, because, you know, we all in the same realm right now, you know, so we all got love for each other. So seeing, you know, one of your brothers go down like that, you know, it's a terrible feeling, you know, and I seen him in the training room, you know, I just told him, keep his head up, you know, just constantly keep your head up, you know, we got your back, you know, and, you know, I always keep in touch with him, you know, I hate seeing players get injured, you know, it was tough for me. I really almost shed a tear, you know, just seeing him how he was, you know, so, you know, I'm praying for him every night.
So will you, you know, knowing how motivational and everything you are, sometimes it's out of sight, out of mind when a guy's not around anymore. Will you make it a point to make him still feel connected and to, you know, to keep in touch with him and send him some of your stuff and everything?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, once you get on this team, you know, especially as a DB group, you know, you're a brother, you know, so it's always gonna be, you know, we don't want him to feel left out of nothing. You know, I tell him, you know, you reach out to me, you know, if you need anything. You know, I'm, like I said, you know, I'm always here to help anybody who I can help, you know, so that's always been my motto.
Thanks a lot.
Back to Scott Patrick.
Hey, Sheldrick, with Grant out, do you see yourself taking on a bigger role this year?
I mean, you know, it's going to be up to the coaches. You know, like I said, all I do is work. You know, I like to stay in the present moment. You know, I never thought too far ahead, you know, but, you know, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be, you know, so I just put my head down and keep working. You know, whatever role, I always pride myself on whatever role the team needs me to do, that's what I'm going to be able to do.
And what did you learn in your kind of limited playing time last year about how you fit in the league, if you can have success moving forward?
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like I can have success. You know, it's just, you know, it's a growing process. You know, every day it's a growing process. So I feel like my rookie year was a good springboard for me, but personally, I just have to take that next step. You know, to feel like, you know, I can be a great player in this league. You know, it's just gonna be consistent work on me every day. You know, I've always prided myself on, I don't make excuses. You know, if something goes wrong that I did, you know, I've never looked to the next man. It's always been me. You know, I'd rather somebody put the blame on me than have somebody else take the blame for anything.
All right, we'll finish with Fred Greetham and then Nate Ulrich. Fred, your line is open.
Hi, Sheldrick. Kind of on Scott's question, you know, what's your comfort level, you know, going into this year and now that you've been in the NFL, and what's the opportunity you see for yourself?
I have a high comfort level. You know, like I said, last year was a good springboard for me. You know, I just feel like it's upon me, you know, to take the next step. Like I said, you know, to really, it's really my time where I feel like I have to take the next step where I can jump off, like, you know, jump out on film, you know, where I'm moving like a blur, you know, faster than everyone, you know, just being able to diagnose plays, you know, being able to do that type of stuff. Cause I know I have it in me, you know, but it's just time to show it.
And our final one will come from Nate Ulrich.
Hey, Sheldrick, I wanted to go back to you becoming a member of that social justice leadership committee. And Kevin Stefanski asking you, what have you thought of Kevin Stefanski during this time? You know, first year head coach with a pandemic, with the social justice issues, of racial equality issues being brought to the forefront in this country. How has he handled everything? What do you think of his leadership and, you know, forming that committee and encouraging you guys to attend protests and everything that he's kind of shown you so far, even though you haven't played a game under him?
Showed a lot, you know, just showed the type of man he is. You know, he's been a great leader, you know, and in spite of all that's been going on, you know, he's just hammered down on us, keeping our heads, you know, never letting anything get too out of control, you know, just basically getting us to understand that, you know, it sucks, but it sucks for everybody around, you know, everybody's going through it, you know, so the team that comes out of it the best, you know, will play the best. So, you know, he's been a great leader in that field. And then the social justice committee, you know, I feel like that's been great. You know, that was a great addition to what we've been doing here. You know, like I said, it's something I've been like, I'm hard down passionate about, you know, like, and it's just, you know, I love the way he's been handling it, you know, and, you know, he wants to see a change made. You know, we all want to see a change made. So we're going to do our best to make whatever happens, you know, make whatever has to happen, happen.